So I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about, and I actually did think, oh wow, there's like a hummingbird. Hi. Oh, and a waterfall. Okay, well, whatever. So, yeah, I was trying to think about what to talk about, and I did pick a topic. So, I actually heard most of my talk, and she's talked about this on more than one occasion. So the topic is the hypersexualization of black women on screen. Now, I'm not going to put Cardi B in this category, but I am going to and I'm also not going to put Meg Thee Stallion in the category. And here's the reason for that. Because these are women who are writing about real experiences that they actually have and preferences that they've garnered over time. And these are not like hypothetical sexual experiences. They're real. Like, you can tell that Meg Thee Stallion has built up a certain like stamina and preference because of like relationships that she's had in the past. And so a big part of her style of rap is like, she's like the Little Kim version, like the 2020 version of Little Kim, where these women are talking about real experience that they have in real life. And so the confidence comes from almost like, not the brutality, I don't want to call it that, but like, we'll just call it like real lived experience. And we're talking about like sexual experiences. Whereas someone like Chloe or Normani, it's very strange because they're like hypersexualizing themselves. And you can tell that these are not experiences that they have in real life. They're talking about like, treat me this and treat like, thinking about Chloe, she's saying like, treat me. And then there's I just watched the Normani video for the first time. And she's talking about her wild side, and she's basically like naked in the entire video. And it's just kind of like, these are really young girls. Like, Chloe's like 19 and Normani's 18 or something. I mean, they don't know anything about sex yet, you know? And also, if you really think about the way that Chloe grew up, like, Chloe grew up in the church under Beyonce. Like, she was not out there like wilding in no streets. Like, that's not even remotely a part of her experience. And like, Normani has just been simply trying to be a pop girl. And the really strange part about like Normani, she has like a fucking team, and she was a part of like a real pop group. Like, she could have written about anything. Lip gloss. She could have been Bia shopping at the mall. Like, come on. Like, she's the girl who goes to the mall, goes to movies with her friends, and eats popcorn at home. But now we have to watch her in a music video, basically like fucking Cardi B. Like, it doesn't even add up. Like, she's talking about experiences that it's clear that she's never had. And it just kind of looks retarded because like, we all live in the real world. She's talking about take me on trips to the islands. Okay, has anybody seen any photo of Normani ever going to the islands? No. She's like literally stateside trying to pop off on MTV. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, people who are actually in the islands are like, what the fuck is she talking about? And everybody here is like, Normani is not living this life. Because we would see it. That's the reason like white pop girls pop off, because they start talking about shit that they really did. Like, we can all laugh at, you know, Becky G or whoever is, well, she's not even white, but like, who's another I'm thinking about? Bad Barbie, Bad Baby or whatever. Or Azealia Banks. What is her name? You know, the not Azealia Banks, but the one who was like, oh my god, I'm gonna think of it. The one who had the Clueless video, and Iggy Azalea. Okay, we can all call her ratchet and awful and shit, but at least she's talking about, when she really is talking about this confidence that everybody's laughing at her for, she really feels that way about herself. Now, we can all be like, she's a dusty whore, and which is true too, but in her mind, she is something else. And also, she is walking through the world as that something else, and there are lame white girls who believe her. That's the point. But here's the thing, Normani is just making up stories. And the story doesn't even fit. Like, how is Normani telling Cardi B's story? Girl, you're not a stripper. Cardi B was a real stripper. Cardi B is in these streets, and she's been in these clubs, okay? Like, she was on, even the girls on the Real Housewives were coming. If y'all watched the Real Housewives of wherever, where Cardi B was on for like 4 seasons, Cardi B was getting ripped apart by the men. She was getting ripped apart by the women. I mean, everybody shit on her, like everybody. So all of this, like, where, you know, she's trying to take back her ownership. Like, I think that's good, because I think that like everybody should have the capacity to have the comeback and speak your piece, but there's just an appropriate time for that. Like, I don't understand Cardi B with the comeback 6 years later. Girl, where was this energy when you were stripping in the club? Like, that's what I don't understand. You can't, like, pull the morals out of thin air. All of a sudden, now you're about purity politics and shit. And also, why drag Normani into this? Like, Normani hasn't even had an opportunity to do anything yet. Like, give her a chance to grow up. Like, also, just, like, why can't y'all model after Sierra? Like, when I was growing up, I thought Sierra was lame, too, because it was just, like, she was a good dancer, but honestly, I couldn't understand any of the things that she was talking about. But that's because I didn't grow up in Atlanta, right? So now, when I look back and I realize, like, what was happening in Atlanta and basically how many men were hypersexualizing Sierra as, like, a 13-year-old girl, it makes sense why she was talking about goodies. When I was like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? When I was, like, 11, I had no idea what the goodies and all that shit was, but in Atlanta, where she was at, I mean, dudes are coming out of the sky. Like, they won't let these girls grow up at all. So it, like, makes sense why she's sitting there talking about goodies when she's, like, 11. Or however old she was, like 13 or something. But I just feel like it's a different time, okay? Like, there's no need for Chloe to be, like, this. I think she needs to go to a course or have some therapy or something. Because, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's okay to start to, like, I don't know, understand your sexuality, but maybe there's something that's happened with, like, media that has just taken it overboard. Because, like, unless Chloe's planning to be, like, a real legit stripper, then I don't understand, like, what, like, why is she talking like this and behaving like this in every single video all the time? Like, that should be, like, a mental disorder, too. There's no, come on, like, y'all are out here in the same society that I'm out here with. There's no girl who 24/7 is twerking her pussy everywhere. Like, that's just not, there's only 24 hours in a day, and it's illegal to be naked outside. So, like, I don't understand where all this twerk energy is coming from. Because, like, this is from girls who are not strippers. Don't get me wrong, because, like, yeah, like, some of y'all have, like, completely normalized stripper culture, and some of y'all are OnlyFans girls and strippers, and that's a thing, and I'm not trying to take that away from anybody. But I don't understand why Chloe and Normani are culturally appropriating stripper culture. It's insensitive, and also it's sending the wrong message to, like, the next generation of black girls. It just is. Like, we don't need to see your ass, Chloe. Like, thank you for, like, giving us one video where you've told us all that you are incredibly gorgeous. Like, we get it. If it was, like, one or two photos, but it's just an all the time thing, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, what that, because it's not, you're not living that life. Are you? Like, or, and if you are, like, why isn't any adult stepping in to, like, stop it? Because, like, Chloe's, like, 19, talking about things that Beyonce was talking about when she was, like, 27. So, like, you see the difference there? That's 10 years. 10 years for Beyonce to get to that place. Like, how are we there when Chloe is, like, 18? Like, she's not there. She's, like, a young woman. Like, why won't people just let her grow up? Like, I don't understand. Even I'm not there. Like, I'm not even telling no nigga, like, treat me, like, pay for my pussy. Like, even I'm not there, okay? Grown-ass adults here. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, nobody feels that way. That's not... Or maybe here's a better idea. Here's another thing for A&R. Like, some of you guys are wondering why some of these artists aren't, like, really popping, and it's because they're unrelatable, okay? Like, Chloe has a really great demographic right now of girls who are in high school and girls who are in, like, here's another thing, I can't even lie, like, Sweetie and her have come out of thin air to, like, really start to tell some sort of stories of being, like, a girl of color who's straight and pretty and who just, like, gets the attention of men. Like, that's a real thing that clearly, like, some of y'all were just so confused about because everyone has just whitewashed every single thing that is, like, not stripping. I don't know. It's so weird. Like, white women do not own femininity or vaginas. Like, black femmes exist. Let me like sit here and be one example for you over and over every single day, forever and ever and ever. But like, we don't act like you guys. And also, this is not a thing of like poverty politics. Like, all of us are just not going to participate in the struggle war that you for some reason would like us to participate in. Like, we all don't feel that way, and all of us are not going to have that experience like ever. Even as many laws as you try to make, and as awful as you try to use like propaganda to make it seem, it will just like never be that way, because some of us just don't believe in you or Americana or like any of that shit. Like, for me, like, I don't. If it's not clear, I've tried to make it clear in every single video. Like, I am other. All the stereotypes and propaganda, like, none of them fit. There's no mold of any artist in society who represents me. Like, I don't listen to any of the girls, to be honest. The only girl I feel like I can honestly relate to is like Hayley Williams, and that's because her album has just done so much for me to feel like I am heard, okay? I'm like understood. And maybe I'll just, instead of continuing to like degrade and like downplay everything, I'll just make more content about the things and people that I do like. Like, I'm considering starting a channel or like a series that's just about Jazz Chooks. So Jazz Chooks is obviously like the black supermodel. She was like a Victoria's Secret model, and then she married the founder of Airbnb. Her wedding was like a whole Cinderella story, and now yesterday she was at the Kings Island in like a completely gorgeous flowing pink dress. I'll just make more content about that so that we can just all see that story, right? Because like, I'm sorry, I do not want to see Chloe's ass on my screen any longer. Like, I don't want to see Normani twerking her pussy. Like, girl, aren't you like a virgin? Like, it's like ridiculous. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. Like, who told these girls that it was cool to make content about sex that they're not having? I don't even make content about the sex that I am having when I was having it. Like, jeez. Like, doesn't anybody, like, I don't know, play a part in some sort of, like, conservative values, or really just some sort of, like, how do you put it? Like, man, some sort of just, I don't know, like dignity or how do you say, like, in the closet or behind closed doors sort of secrecy toward like your intimacy with like your partner, whoever your partner is. Like, why must you broadcast every portion or every aspect of your intimacy with the world? Don't get me wrong, because I'm not that person who's being like, oh, if you like wearing a bathing suit and you're really gorgeous wearing a bathing suit, you don't get to wear one because pervs are on the internet. Like, I'm not that person. But I'm also saying, you're not in a bathing suit 24/7, so can we see you in like regular clothes and a bathing suit and a skirt and a dress and jeans, like sneakers, flip-flops, like the plethora of all the outfits, the plethora of all the emotions, like all of them. Like, nobody walks around in a G-string all day. Like, that's not real, okay? Just humanize yourself, okay? That's what I'm saying. Just go through all of the emotions, go through all of the experiences. Be like, yes, sometimes I feel happy and I wear sun flops or whatever, and then sometimes I feel sad and I wear goth boots. That is like a completely normal experience. Like, that's what all of us do. That's normal. But there's nobody who for 6 seasons and 17 albums and 10 years is like shaking ass in a video. Oh, look. This is why I made that content about the Spice Girls. They're like, finally, just take a clue from them and be the girl who's like, you know, doing other things, not just shaking ass all the time, okay?